How do I know the right partner for me? This is one question that a lot of singles ask. Single men, single ladies, a lot ask. And I'll just be sharing my experience. So, to a very large extent, I feel like God actually made me experience that so I could, teach other people or whatever it is, just get to tell other people. And to a very large extent, it molded my thought and everything. So while I was growing up, I had a lot of suitors, and each suitor came with an experience. So the one I'll be sharing today is so while I was in year one, there's this guy I met. So I will not be mentioning names. Like I said, these are real life stories, so I will not be mentioning anybody's name. And anything I say is not to shade anyone, please. It's just for us to learn the lessons behind the stories. So while I was in year one, I got to know this guy, and we started off as friends. Like we're friends, like platonic friends. No, very true friendship. We're not even in a relationship per se. We were just friends. Like it was like it was 4 levels higher than me. As a matter of fact, when I got into year one, he was already graduating. Because of the strike, then we had um 400 level A and 400 level B, those kind stories. So it was among the B's that were already graduated. So I only got to know him in school for a few weeks or few months. But even after he left for NYC, we kept talking. Like I said, it was just friendship. Coincidentally, we attended the same fellowship in school, Castle. Yes, I'm a castle, right? Yes, so we attended the same fellowship in school and all. So fast forward to when I was in year three, we're still friends because, like I said, we were just friends. And I know one thing I noticed he liked about me was the fact that I was very intelligent, and that was, what ignited the relationship at first. So when I was in 300 level, then he started talking about marriage. Like I said, we're just friends. There was no, like we're not courting, we're not dating, we're just friends. We get to, I just gist him about my day, he gist me about his day. We just talk at length and all. Even we're very far apart, but then we're communicating on 100%. So when he started talking about marriage, I remember then, I think he came around in Ondo. I was My parents are based in Lagos, so I came back for my IT in Lagos. So then he came around in Ondo for something, something, something. I can't remember exactly. And it was like, oh, he wanted to use the opportunity to get to meet my parents and all. And I was like, okay, no problem, but just hold on a while. Let me pray about it. And for some reason, I don't know why, that pissed him off. And I'm like, I have not said no. I only said, let me pray about it. It doesn't mean to just say yes and then just dive into marriage with you like that. Let me pray about it. And for the fact that this was someone that, like I said, we had a very good friendship, and we attended the same church in school, and it was a fireful and all that. And I was not expecting that reaction, to be very, very sincere. As a matter of fact, I feel like you should have even prayed about it before coming to ask for my hand in marriage and all. But I didn't let that get to me. I was like, please, I need to pray about this first. He kept bothering. He wanted to come and see my mom. I told my mom about it. May I still rest in peace. I told my mom about it and all. But before the main event that happened, so while I was still praying about it, I had a dream. Remember, I said I was in my year three then. In that dream, I was 7. I was wearing this NYSC khaki in that dream. And in that dream, I was standing outside, like our house in Lagos. I was standing outside our house. And this very guy, okay, let me just give him a name, just for the sake of this video. Let me just say his name is let me just say Ifine. So in that dream, I was standing in front of Ifine, and I was so sad. Like, I was so unhappy. And right there, we're there. And in that dream, while I was standing in his front, like we were facing each other, it was like we were already engaged or we were married or something. But I was so unhappy. Like when I say I was so, so unhappy. And even him himself, he was so unhappy too. And I just hugged him in that dream and I told him bye. And we parted our ways in that dream. When I woke up, I was like, no. Imagine someone I told I wanted to pray about it and then it flipped. You will not tell him that the answer is no because of a revelation. He will say maybe so just to I told my mom the dream and my mom was like, that was God just telling me that if I eventually get to marry this person that I'll be unhappy and even him too will be unhappy and later on we might eventually part way just like we did in that dream. And I told this guy the dream that I had and he was very angry, like very, when I say very angry, we stopped, we that action alone, like our friendship, communication, everything just from 100 to 1%, like automatically. But being the kind of person that I am, I don't take my dreams for granted. I don't take any revelation that God gives me for granted. So I stood my ground. I said, no. When God has told me this, if I go into it, then I'll be a fool to, not to adhere to God's instruction. And that was how everything went. At the time, I didn't even know about I didn't know his whereabouts anymore. So fast forward to, you see this life is a mystery. Fast forward to when I was now 7. Like I said, I never knew about this guy's whereabouts after that period. Apart from maybe a few occasions when I see, because a friend of his is my friend and all, but let me just keep that part of the story. Fast forward to when I was serving. I served in Ogun State. I did my 3 weeks camp in Ogun State. I was still in Ogun State. I remember one night we had finished this social whatever they do in camp. They will do all these beauty pageants and all. I've forgotten what they call it. I was lying down on the bed on the bunk in the NYC camp, and I was just pressing my phone, and someone just chatted me up. I looked at this picture. It was this person person we were calling Ifeanyi. It was this person Ifeanyi. I was like, this one you're chatting, because I remember at the time while we were no longer talking, I think about 2 years later, I saw his wedding pictures. He got married and all, and So when he started chatting me as about 11, and I'm like, this one you're chatting me by this time. Where's your wife? Like, why are you chatting a lady by this time of the night? He skipped the question. He was like, how are you? I was like, don't skip my question. You cannot be chatting me at this ungodly hour. Where is your wife? Does your wife know that you're chatting somebody by this time? Before you know, he said that he's not married again, Jerry. I'm like, I don't understand. I saw your wedding pictures now. I had to rush back to Facebook and scroll through, and he had deleted all his wedding pictures, like every single thing. Literally, there were no signs of him being married anymore. And if I hadn't seen those pictures, then I would have thought maybe so I didn't get the right information. And I was like, what happened? Remember, I had a dream while I was on my NYSC uniform and we separated. And while I was now serving in real life, this guy started shutting me up, and that was when he told me that he got married, yes, but now he's divorced. I just divorced his wife, I think, few days. And immediately he said that, the dream just struck back. And I'm like, this would have been me. Like, I was like, this would have been me. It would have been me married to this guy. It would have been me divorcing at this time, because of all time to divorce. Why was it while I was serving? Exactly the way it came out in my dream. And I'm also guessing that he also pricked his mind, and that was why he started chatting me up that night. Because obviously maybe he didn't take me serious or anything, because I believe if he had taken me serious and probably prayed about it, him marrying somebody else, that it shouldn't have still happened. But despite the fact that it wasn't me, it still happened even when he got married to somebody else. This is just to say that prayer in everything, even as little as somebody proposing to you or about to propose to you or you're about to get married. Like I said, I have a lot of experiences that I would share, a lot of them, but I'll just stop here. This is 10 minutes already, so I'll just stop here.